Ladies and gentlemen, tennis enthusiasts in the Philippines and across the world, welcome back to the channel. Today is a day that will be carved in the historical records of Asian sports forever. We are not just discussing a victory, we are not just discussing a trophy, we are discussing a seismic transformation in the hierarchy of women's tennis. We are discussing a ceiling being shattered, not just cracked, but completely demolished by a 20-year-old phenomenon who has carried the burden of a nation on her shoulders since she was a junior champion. The news has just broken. The rankings have just refreshed and the tennis world is in absolute shock. The headlines are screaming it, the forums are buzzing, and the Philippines is celebrating. Alexandra Eala, the queen of the court from Quezon City, has achieved what many said was impossible this quickly. She has rocketed into the WTA top 40. You heard that correctly. From hovering around a top 50, battling through qualifiers and grinding in the challengers, Alex has made a massive lightning-fast leap to world number 40. This is a new career high. This is uncharted territory, and this is happening right now. The journey to this moment has been nothing short of cinematic. Just days ago, we were looking at the live rankings, hoping she would break the top 45. But after a spectacular, heart-stopping run at the Abu Dhabi Open, a WTA 500 event where the competition is fierce and the margins are razor-thin, Eala didn't just participate, she dominated the narrative. She didn't just show up, she arrived. Think about the context here. For decades, Southeast Asian tennis has been looking for its next global icon. We've seen flashes of brilliance. We've seen steady climbs. But to see a Filipino player standing tall inside the top 40 of the Women's Tennis Association Tour is a milestone that changes the game entirely. It proves that the Rafa Nadal Academy graduate is not just a clay court specialist or a junior prodigy anymore. She's a bona fide elite-level threat who can stand toe-to-toe with the heavy hitters on hard courts. What makes this jump real quick, as the headline says, is the quality of the points she just defended and gained. We are coming off a week in Abu Dhabi where she faced arguably the toughest mental test of her career. The round of 16 match against Alexandra Eala wasn't just a tennis match, it was a war of attrition. Down 0-4 in the deciding set, most players fold, most young players pack their bags and look at the next flight to Doha, but not Alex Eala. That comeback, clawing back game by game, point by point, saving break points with fearless forehands down the line, was a catalyst for this ranking explosion. That was the moment she told the world, "I belong here." And let's not forget the bigger picture. This top 40 debut isn't an isolated incident. It is a culmination of a blistering start to the 2026 season. From the courts of Auckland to the heat of the Australian Open and now the Middle East swing, Eala has been playing with a level of maturity that belies her age. She is striking the ball cleaner. Her serve has added crucial mph and her court coverage, always a strength, has become elite. The shock factor here isn't that she's good. We knew she was good. The shock is the speed of this ascent. Breaking into the top 50 was a grind. But jumping from 50 to 40 in the blink of an eye, that requires beating players ranked above you. That requires deep runs in 500-level tournaments. That requires consistency that usually takes years to develop. Alex has fast-tracked the process. Today we are going to dive deep, and I mean deep, into exactly how this happened. We are going to analyze the mathematics of the ranking jump. We will break down the pivotal matches in Abu Dhabi that secured these points. We will look at her tactical evolution under her coaching team. We will discuss what this means for her seeding in upcoming Grand Slams. Because yes, at world number 40, she is now knocking on the door of being a seeded player at the majors, which completely changes her path to a potential second week at Roland Garros or Wimbledon. We will also look at the reaction from the tour. What are the experts saying? How is the Filipino community in the Middle East, who showed up in droves to support her, reacting to this historic news? This is a moment of national pride, but it is also a fascinating case study in player development. How do you go from a promising junior to a top 40 pro? Alex is writing the textbook right before our eyes, so buckle up. We have a lot of ground to cover. We are going to dissect the stats, the shots, the drama, and the future. The whole world is shocked. But if you've been paying attention to the grit and determination of Alex Eala over the last 12 months, maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe this was destiny waiting to happen. But destiny doesn't hand you ranking points. You have to go out there and take them. And that is exactly what she has done. Alex Eala, world number 40. The new era of Filipino tennis is not coming. It is here. Let's get into the analysis to truly understand the magnitude of this achievement. We have to look at the landscape of the WTA Tour right now. The depth in women's tennis is at an all-time high. The difference between world number 80 and world number 40 is often not just skill. It is mental fortitude, physical durability, and the ability to win ugly when your game isn't there. Let's rewind the clock slightly to set the stage. Entering the 2026 season, expectations were cautious. Alex had finished 2025 strong, securing that emotional gold medal at the SEA Games in Thailand, a victory that meant the world to her and her family, especially given her mother's history as a SEA Games medalist. That win in Bangkok didn't offer WTA ranking points, but it offered something more valuable: confidence. It solidified her status as the queen of Southeast Asian tennis. It reminded her that she could handle pressure when playing for the flag. Fast forward to January 2026, the Australian summer. we saw flashes of brilliance. A semifinal run in Auckland gave us a hint that her off-season training at the Rafa Natal Academy had been productive. She wasn't just rallying, she was constructing points with sharper angles. Her serve, historically a liability she could be attacked on, was holding up under pressure. But the real test, the crucible that would determine if she could crack the elite top 40, was the Middle East swing. The Middle East swing, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Dubai, is notoriously brutal. The conditions vary from windy to humid. The courts can be fast and the fields are stacked because everyone is chasing big points early in the season. Enter the Abu Dhabi Open, a WTA 500 event. This is not a lower-tier 250 tournament. The draw was packed with top 20 talent. For a player ranked in the low 50s, this is a minefield. You often draw a seed in the first or second round. Eala's performance in Abu Dhabi is the direct reason we are making this video today. Let's break down the run. The first round setting the tone, she opened against Zeynep Sonmez. On paper, a winnable match, but first rounds are always tricky. You're adjusting to the surface, the balls, the lights. Eala came out firing. What stood out immediately was her return of serve. Eala has always been a lefty with a dangerous cross-court forehand. But against Sonmez, she was stepping into the baseline, taking the ball early and rushing her opponent. She won that match in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3. It was clinical, it was professional, it was the kind of win top 40 players make routine. The miracle in the round of 16. Then came the match that changed everything. The round of 16 against Alexandra Sasnovich. Sasnovich is a veteran, she has been on tour for years. She knows every trick in the book. She hits flat hard and can take the racket out of your hands. The match started well for Eala, but then the momentum swung. Sasnovich began painting the lines. By the time they reached the deciding third set, Eala looked out of gas. She went down 0-4. Let's pause here. 0-4 in the third set against a seasoned veteran. The statistical probability of winning from that position is less than 5%. In the live chat, people are already typing, "Good try, Alex," and on to the next one. But something happened at 0-4. We saw the natal DNA kick in. Eala stopped missing, she stopped overplaying, she went into lockdown mode. She held serve to make it 1-4, a small ripple. Then she broke Sasnovich to make it 2-4. The crowd, the massive Filipino expat community in Abu Dhabi, sensed blood. The "Let's go Alex" chant started reverberating around the stadium. At 4-4, Sasnovich looked rattled. Eala was bouncing on her toes, looking like she had just started the match. The physical conditioning work she did in the off-season was on full display. She wasn't breathing heavy, she was hunting. She pushed the set to a tiebreak, and in that tiebreak she was fearless. She closed out 7-6 in the third. That win was worth more than just ranking points. It was a statement. It showed the locker room that you cannot count Eala out until the final handshake. That comeback victory propelled her into the quarterfinals. The quarterfinal defeat with dignity in the quarters. She faced Ekaterina Alexandrova, a top 20 player who hits one of the flattest, hardest games on tour. Eala lost that match 6-3, 6-3, but here's the key. She didn't lose because she was overwhelmed. She lost because Alexandrova played a near-perfect match. Eala created chances, she just didn't convert them. And at this level, that is the difference. But making the quarterfinals of a WTA 500 is a massive point haul. The mathematics of the jump. Now let's talk about the math. Why did this specific run vault her from 50 to 40? The WTA ranking system is based on a rolling 52-week cycle. Eala had very few points to defend from this time last year. Remember, in early 2025 she was grinding through qualifiers and playing smaller ITF events. She wasn't making deep runs in WTA 500s, so almost every point she earned in Abu Dhabi was net positive. She added approximately 108 points to her tally depending on the exact breakdown of the 500 structure for that year. In the tight cluster of the rankings between 40 and 60, 100 points is a jetpack. It allows you to leapfrog 10 to 12 players who might have lost in the first round or are defending points they failed to replicate. By reaching the quarterfinals, she surpassed the 1,200-point threshold, an approximate estimation based on current tour dynamics. This pushed her past players like Wang Xinyu or perhaps players slipping down like a struggling Sloane Stephens or others in that bracket. She landed squarely at number 40. The left-handed advantage. We need to talk about her game technically. Why is she winning more now? The lefty advantage is real. Eala's serve, particularly the slice out wide on the ad court, has become a genuine weapon. In the crucial moments against Sasnovich, she used that serve to open up the court, but the biggest improvement has been her transition game. 2 years ago, Eala was comfortable rallying from the baseline, but she hesitated to come forward. In Abu Dhabi, we saw her finishing points at the net. We saw drive volleys. We saw her recognizing a short ball and attacking it immediately rather than just rolling it back. This aggression is necessary if she wants to stay in the top 40. The girls in the top 20, Sabalenka, Gauff, Swiatek, they don't wait for you to miss. They hit through you. Eala is learning to hit through them. The 2025 foundation. We cannot ignore the foundation laid in 2025. This rise didn't happen in a vacuum. The 2025 season was a breakthrough year. Remember the Miami Open 2025? As a wild card, she went on that magical run to the semifinals. That was the moment the world first really paid attention, beating Grand Slam champions, handling the humidity of Florida. That run gave her a massive chunk of points that she's currently carrying. However, the challenge in tennis is defending points. The fact that she is adding new points in Abu Dhabi before she has to defend those Miami points in March is brilliant scheduling. It gives her a buffer. It means that when Miami comes around next month, she won't be playing with the desperate pressure of defend or drop. She has already banked points in the Middle East. Comparisons to Asian greats. When we look at Asian tennis history, the path Ella is on draws interesting parallels. She is often compared to a young Li Na in terms of groundstroke penetration, though Li Na was a righty. But a better comparison might be a lefty version of early career Naomi Osaka, not in terms of raw power. Osaka is a generational power hitter, but in terms of poise, Ella rarely smashes rackets, she rarely screams at her box. She has a zen quality that serves her well in three-setters. She's also carrying the torch for Southeast Asia. Since the retirement of Tamarine Tanasugarn, the region has been waiting for a consistent top 50 player. Ella is that player, and being only 20, she has a decade or more ahead of her. The financial aspect. Let's touch briefly on the business side. Breaking the top 40 is a massive financial milestone. It guarantees entry into all Grand Slam main draws, no more qualifying, no more hope and pray for a wild card, you are in. You get the first round prize money check, which in 2026 is substantial, often $80,000 to $100,000 plus depending on the slam. This allows her to invest more in her team, better physios, traveling coaches, analytic support. It's a virtuous cycle. Success buys you the resources to create more success. The Doha Challenge. So what is next? The news cycle moves fast. Even as we celebrate this top 40 ranking, she is already in Doha for the Qatar Open. Her first-round opponent is Tereza Vailantova. This is a fascinating matchup. Vailantova is another young riser. They know each other from juniors. This is a popcorn match. Now that Ella is a top 40 player, she carries a target on her back. Vailantova will be the underdog. Ella has to manage the expectation. Can she reset emotionally after the high of Abu Dhabi? Can she handle the quick turnaround? If she wins a couple of rounds in Doha, we aren't just talking top 40. We could be talking top 35. We could be talking about seeding at the French Open. The Grand Slam implications. The French Open is the next major target. Ella grew up on clay at the Rafa Nadal Academy. It is her natural surface. If she can maintain this top 40 ranking until May, she will likely be just outside the top 32 seeds unless she has another deep run. If she cracks the top 32, she avoids the big seeds, Sabalenka, Rybakina, until the third round. That is the golden ticket in tennis. That is how you make the second week of a slam. Right now she is at number 40. She needs to bridge a gap of about 8 spots to get that seed. It is very doable with the clay season coming up. The Filipino effect. Finally, in this analysis we have to talk about the crowd. I mentioned the Filipino effect earlier. Tennis is a lonely sport. But when Ella plays in the Middle East or the US or Australia, she is never alone. The support she receives is akin to a Davis Cup atmosphere. This energy is a tangible asset. In that Sasnovich match, I am convinced the crowd played a 10% role in her comeback. Opponents get intimidated when 80% of the stadium is cheering against them. Ella is learning to harness this energy without letting it pressure her. Summary of the rise. To summarize the deep dive: tactical aggression, she is finishing points at the net. Mental resilience, the 0-4 comeback is the proof. Strategic scheduling, gaining points in 500-level events before defending big titles. Physical maturity, she's stronger, faster, and recovering better. This is not a fluke. This is a new normal. The leap from 50 to top 40 real quick headline is accurate, but it's also just beginning. The leap from 40 to 20 is harder. The leap from 20 to 10 is the hardest. But Ella has passed the first major hurdle of her professional career. She is no longer a prospect. She is a contender. So there you have it, the breakdown of a historic week for Alexandra Eala and for Philippine tennis. From the depths of a grueling third set in Abu Dhabi to the heights of a new career-high ranking of number 40, it is rare that we get to see a career trajectory shift so visibly in real time. Usually, progress is slow and invisible, but this week the world saw the shift. The whole world shocked headline might seem sensational, but for anyone who follows the brutal math of the WTA Tour, seeing a 20-year-old jump 10 spots into the elite tier in a single week is indeed a shock to the system, a delightful one. As we look ahead to the Qatar Open in Doha, all eyes will be on her match against Vailantova. Can she back up this ranking? Can she prove that she belongs in the top 40 to stay? The pressure will be higher, the spotlight will be brighter, and the opponents will be hungrier. But if the miracle in Abu Dhabi taught us anything, it's that Ella thrives when the heat is on. To the fans watching, enjoy this moment. You are witnessing the prime years of a generational talent. Support her, watch the matches, but also understand that tennis is a roller coaster. There will be losses, there will be dips, but the trend line is pointing strictly upward. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What was your reaction to the Sasnovich comeback? Do you think Alex can crack the top 30 before the French Open? And for Filipino fans, where were you when you saw the news? Let's get a conversation going. If you enjoyed this deep dive analysis, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel get this news out to more tennis fans. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update on Ella's journey to the top. We will be back with a post-match analysis after her Doha opener. Until then, keep your eyes on the ball and keep believing. The rise is real. This is your host signing off. See you on the next one.